Hey Southeast, I hope you're doing well. This morning I was reading in a minor prophet of the Old Testament, Zephaniah. It's only 3 chapters, but it's kind of interesting. It's this book, and he's talking about the destruction of Israel. It's talking about the exile when they come in and they take him away. And he's in Judah, specifically he's talking about Judah. And Zephaniah is talking about how these armies are going to come in, and it's just going to be a horrific time, a tribulation, a trial, and it's just utter destruction. I mean, just things that you can't imagine. And then in verse 3, he talks about a time when God will come back. God will bring the people back. And I think that we can resonate with that a little bit, is that when you and I we're going through a trial and tribulation, we can have confidence that the Lord has not forgotten us, that he oftentimes takes our trials and tribulations and he uses them for his glory, for his kingdom. And we see that these promises are fulfilled in Jesus. And so I love looking at these Old Testament passages, especially when they kind of get to this point where they look up and they see the Messiah, and they see the church, and they see the beautiful kingdom that God is building. And he talks about this. So in chapter 3, so he talks about the destruction in chapter 1 and chapter 2. And so in chapter 3, he's talking about this, and it's the conversion of the nations. For at that time, I will change the speech of the peoples to a pure speech, that all of them may call upon the name of the Lord and serve him with one accord. And so this is describing a kingdom where all people, it doesn't matter your ethnicity, it doesn't matter your economic status, it's where all people can come. And that's what we see in Jesus. There's an invitation for everybody. And then he describes the people. And I love this. In verse 12 it says, "But I will leave in your midst the people humble and lowly, and they shall seek refuge in the name of the Lord." And that's the call to us, I think, in some ways, of how when we are going through trials, when we are going through tribulation, when it seems like the world is collapsing around us, that we pause and we do take time to seek refuge in him. And then he gives this incredible description of what God does with his people. And it's found in verse 17. He says this, the Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. And I think sometimes we forget that God he has gladness over you. You know, a lot of times what happens, especially when we're going through a trial or a tribulation, we kind of think, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is this so horrible? And I must not be a very good person, or I must not be a very good Christian, or I must be not very good. And we kind of have this self-talk that gets into us, and it just, things that God would never think about you. And in fact, here he's talking about his people and how he's glad for his people. And he says he will quiet you by his love. And I've found that to be true. That oftentimes when I'm going through a tribulation, I'm going through a trial, I'm wondering why things are happening the way that they're unfolding, to just pause and seek refuge in him. And I'm quieted by his kindness. The verse goes on to actually say that he sings over you. And I've just found that to be true, that any time that you're going through a tribulation, that you can find refuge in the Lord. Hey, there's a couple things that are happening, very important things. One is this: we have our trunk or treat. It's this week, the 29th. It's so that's on Sunday, and it goes from 4 o'clock until 6. A light dinner and drinks are provided. So you want to make sure that you bring your kids to that. I'd love to have a great turnout for that. But also, if you want to sign up for to bring a car and to decorate your car and all that stuff that goes with trunk or treat, you can sign up online at southeast.cc. And then also we have our Operation Christmas Child. We've been promoting this for a couple weeks now. But here's just a few reminders. We need to have your donations in by November 1st, and the packing party is the 5th, November 5th, after the church service on that day. And if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to Tara. Southeast, I love you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and God bless you.